In this tutorial, we're going to explain how to self-launch a kite on land. These techniques are advanced maneuvers, so please be careful attempting them for the first time. First, we'll get into how to land launch a kite without an anchor point. Make sure you have done a pre-flight check. This includes making sure you have a nice, clear, and open area. There are no obstacles or other kites or people downwind from you in your launch area. It also includes identifying the wind direction. The pre-flight check also includes knowing what direction you're going to launch and walk in order to set up your lines and launch the kite. Notice the wind direction here indicated by the arrows, and that the lines were set up parallel to the wind direction, and now the rider is walking towards the edge of the wind window to the low power zone prior to launching his kite, and that his lines are perpendicular to the wind direction prior to launching the kite. After you've identified the wind direction and pumped up your kite, rig up your lines directly downwind from the kite. Notice here that the lines are rigged up directly downwind from the kite. After you rig up your lines, double check they're attached correctly. Bridle lines are not tangled or twisted. Lines are attached to the correct ends of the bar and the kite. After you double check your lines, attach your leash and your chicken loop to your harness. Make sure you triple check your lines. If your lines are not set up properly, your kite could end up spiraling out of control. After you check your lines, walk in an arch around the kite and keep slight tension on the lines. While keeping slight tension on the lines, this will help hold the chicken loop to the harness. It's important to keep slight tension on your lines and walk into position without too much slack in the lines. Walk into launch position so your lines are stretched perpendicular to the wind direction. If you do not walk far enough and the kite is upwind of you, it will not fill with air or rotate properly into launch position. Once your lines are perpendicular to the wind and you're in launch position, you can walk backwards to get some more tension on the lines. As you walk slowly backwards, the kite should start to rotate and fill with air. Then start pulling the back bar line or high side upper control line of the kite. As the canopy starts to fill with air, apply tension to the kite as it slides. Pull the line slightly so the kite fills with air and rolls into position. Then apply a little more tension on the upper control line so the kite flies into the air. As the kite lifts from the ground, release some tension from the bar and line and let the kite fly into the air. Here are some tips. Don't oversteer the kite when launching. Let go or release tension prior to the kite launching off the ground. If you think you're going to be overpowered, you can depower the bar so you do not overpower when you launch. Try to avoid self-launching in high wind, winds above 30 to 35 knots. You might want to have one hand on the safety, ready to eject just in case something goes wrong. Next, we're going to explain how to land launch a kite with an anchor point. You want to make sure you set up your bar lines, and anchor point so that the lines are perpendicular to the wind direction. Notice the arrows indicating the wind direction and that the lines are perpendicular to the wind direction. Once your anchor point is securely fastened to the ground, connect a leash with carabiners to your anchor point. Once your leash is connected to the anchor point, connect the other end of your leash to the chicken loop on your bar and make sure that is securely fastened. Once you have connected your kite to your anchor point, then go to your kite and move your kite into the correct orientation into the wind window. You can see here that the rider is picking up the kite and walking to the edge of the wind window to get tension in the kite lines. The kite should sit on its own on the edge of the window, and you can then walk back to the anchor point where your bar is. Once you've gotten to the anchor point, connect the chicken loop to your spreader bar and then disconnect the leash from the chicken loop. You are now connected. Once you have connected yourself to the kite and disconnected the kite from the anchor point, apply some tension to the upper control line so that the kite starts to fly into the air. Another option, if you do not have an anchor point, you can find an anchor point that is secure into the ground. Anchor points can be things like beach signs, fences, lifeguard stands, etc. You can attach your leash around the anchor point and then your leash to the chicken loop on the bar. Then you can attach your chicken loop to your spreader bar and detach your leash from the chicken loop that is attached to the anchor point. This is an alternative method to bringing a secure anchor point with you to the beach. Thank you for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe to get more tutorial videos and product information videos.